Okay, let me be direct. If you're under 1,000 subscribers and your views feel unpredictable, then there's one thing you're probably not thinking about. And it's not thumbnails, it's not consistency, it's not posting frequency. It's really simple if you think about it. You're not optimizing for viewer expectation alignment. So in this video, I'm going to show you what expectation alignment actually means, why small creators break it constantly without realizing, and how fixing this one structural issue can stabilize your growth almost immediately. Because once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere, and you won't be able to ignore it again. So let's break this down properly. So the first main issue is that the real problem isn't quality. Most small creators believe they have a quality problem. My editing isn't good enough, my camera isn't good enough, my delivery isn't polished. Sometimes that is true, but most of the time the real issue is misalignment. And here's what I mean. A viewer clicks on your video because of a promise. The title makes one promise, the thumbnail reinforces it. It's a packaging thing. But the first 60 seconds deliver something slightly different. Not drastically different, just slightly off. And that tiny disconnect, it kills your retention. And retention drives everything. In 2026, YouTube is measuring satisfaction signals at an extremely detailed level. If viewers click and feel they are mildly disappointed, they'll leave. Not angrily, just quietly. And quiet exits are the most dangerous kind. So let's talk about what expectation alignment actually is. The idea itself is extremely simple at its core. Does the experience match the promise? If your title says, "This will fix your retention," the viewer expects a clear diagnosis, a simple shift, and a defined outcome. If instead you give a long backstory, some general advice or a vague encouragement, you've broken that alignment, even if the advice is good. Good content that doesn't match the promise will still underperform, because YouTube rewards fulfilled expectations, not just effort. And small creators break this rule constantly, not intentionally, just casually. So let's look at where small creators break it most. There are three main points when expectation alignment collapses, and this is where things get interesting. Number one is, of course, in the first 30 seconds. You've made a bold claim, and your intro softens it. You hesitate, you over-explain, you set context. Context is fine, but clarity must come first. If your promise is strong, the opening must reinforce it immediately, not dilute it. The first minute should feel like confirmation. Yes, this is exactly what I clicked for. If the viewer feels uncertainty, retention will drop, and early retention drops are brutal for growth. Number two is the middle drift. This one is more subtle, but your video starts strong, and then around the halfway mark, you start layering in some adjacent ideas, not wrong ideas, just slightly off the path. And the focus weakens, the momentum slows, and viewers just start to check out subconsciously. They think this isn't quite what I came for, and then they leave. You didn't lose them because it was bad, you lost them because it wandered. Small creators wander a lot, usually because they want to add more value, but ironically that's actually hurting their performance. Number three is the ending without reinforcement. So you finish the video, you summarize loosely, then you say thanks for watching, but you never re-anchor the core promise. You never close the loop explicitly. That leaves the viewer without psychological closure and without direction. Strong videos don't just end, they confirm the transformation, they reinforce the shift, they guide the next step. Anything less feels incomplete and like a bit of a lie. So here's the brutal truth. If your channel feels inconsistent, it's probably not because your content is wildly different each time. It's because your expectation alignment is inconsistent. Some videos match perfectly, they perform well. Others drift slightly. They stall. You interpret that as randomness, but it's not random, it's just a structural change that needs to be made. This is why small creators feel so confused at the moment. They think, I did the same thing as last time, but they didn't. The promise shifted, the delivery softened, the focus wandered. Tiny cracks. But YouTube magnifies tiny cracks. So here's how to fix it. Before you record, write one sentence. This video promises what? Be painfully specific and then ask, does every section directly serve this sentence? If not, then cut it out. During editing, ask again, does this reinforce the promise or dilute it? If it dilutes it, remove it. You'll feel resistance. That part was good enough, maybe. But if it doesn't serve the promise, it costs you retention. Clarity is more important than cleverness, always. When expectation alignment improves, your early retention increases, your average view duration stabilizes, viewer satisfaction signals are rising and recommendations will widen on YouTube. It feels like the algorithm suddenly likes you again, but it doesn't. You've simply removed the friction. Growth isn't always about adding something new. Sometimes it's about removing misalignment. And misalignment is invisible until you look at it. Once you start analysing your videos through this lens, you'll notice patterns immediately. Where you over-explain, where you drift a bit, where you hedge your claims. And once you fix those, your channel will feel sharper, more intentional, more trustworthy. Trust builds sessions, and sessions, as we know, builds growth. Check out my other video on that if you're interested. So here's the deepest layer. Small creators often try to impress. Large creators try to deliver. Impressing leads to overcomplication, tangents, extra points, intellectual flexing. But delivering for your audience leads to precision, focus, clear structures, and aligned messaging. One feels busy and a bit self-indulgent, the other feels powerful. Viewers don't reward busy, they reward clarity. Remember, this is not about you, this is about your audience. So if you want predictable growth in 2026, stop asking how do I make better videos and start asking, did this experience fully match the promise? If the answer is yes, consistently, your retention will stabilize. If your retention stabilizes, your distribution increases, and if distribution increases, your growth will follow. It won't be overnight and it won't be fast, but it will be reliable, something that you can implement. So here's your challenge. Pick your last upload, write down the exact promise your title made. Now watch the first 30 seconds. Does it deliver that promise immediately, or does it hesitate? And be honest with yourself, because the one thing small creators always miss isn't effort, it's alignment. And once you fix that, everything feels different, sharper, cleaner, more controlled. Right, that's your move. Tighten the promise, align the delivery, remove the drift, and watch what happens next. YouTube thinks you should watch this video on screen next, so go there, and I'll see you in the next one.